going down. Finals of the ESL Open Cup Europe 198. Bottom left side, our red Protoss player, MaxPax. Top right side, the blue Terran player, Clem. As we get into Raduset Station, what a wild map to begin this series on. TvP at its absolute mad finest, I would say. Kind of expected here, so let's see what the hell will happen. Let's see what the heck's going to go down. As we get up, we get running, we get underway. I really do think this is going to be a bit of a crazy game here, actually, to start us off. It is really a little bit of a wild map, so something to look at the very get-go as we get things, like I say, up and running, underway. See what is about to happen. And thank you for joining us, guys, so far today. One last best of 5 series for us. Obviously, we've been busy all day long. We are now 11 hours deep straight of casting, so let's just hope for a fun series. Let's hope for a good grand final. And let's hope for a nice rest at the end of it all. Like I say, it's been a fun day, though. It's been good to be back doing nice long streams. We don't do these very often anymore, so we make the most of them when we can. As we get a few moments of setup here, nothing too crazy. Just for a moment or two, everything's pretty peaceful and chilled out. Nothing to shout about early on. Probe got a little aggressive, but will now turn back around for a moment. So just going to turn back into the center. And just kind of go from there. SCV coming across, trying to get a little bit of something going as well. The Zealot is already coming across, obviously, with a low ground gateway. That's not just a wall into your main and natural on that low ground, but it is also just a forward gateway to maybe get the Zealot across quickly, although it's a pretty big map, so it's still going to take the Zealot a hot second to get across the other side. So that's still a little bit of a factor too. Let's have ourselves the command center factory continuing up for a moment or so here. Reaper is going to continue over, the Adept is going to pop, and that should be enough to help push the Reaper away and to take that back under control here from MaxPax, so no issues on that one. It's going to be seeing the Toilet Council coming in again, our Bolt Gate coming up, Robo Facility coming through. As the couple of Marines jump back into a bunker right there. And set and ready to roll. Again, the Cyclone coming up, Orbital Command and the Reactor all coming through. All of this coming in just for the moment. Adept's just going to come by one more time here and just going to see the couple of them shading in. The SCVs are going to dodge out the way. Again, Robo Facility, Dark Shrine coming up. The Cyclone will fire up onto a couple of Adepts for a few moments as well. It's just getting a little bit more done there. As our Cyclone and Marines will be able to defend and nothing really caused yet. Dark Shrine on the way quickly from MaxPax. He's going to dive right into a Dark Shrine setup, so that's a fairly fun one. Alright, well, we'll see what comes of that. We'll see if anything happens with it as we get underway. With the Prism, the Dark Shrine, the Rope, that Gateway, all coming about as well. So bringing all of this through just for the moment. Prism's over halfway done, and that Dark Shrine will be able to give MaxPax some aggression on the map. So we'll see just how that goes for him. See if it's going to be enough to maybe get some damage dealt. Again, a couple of racks coming through, the Gateway's coming in, the Dark Shrine is building. Just seeing our Dark Shrine, the probes. Really waiting for this DT play. I mean, if Clem doesn't allow this to do much damage, MaxPax could be in a lot of trouble right from the start here. I wonder what makes him do it on Raduset. Big map. Maybe the chance to survive if you don't do super well straight away. You can still sort of get to the next stage of the game without being in mega amounts of trouble, maybe. Them coming up, 5 SCVs going down already. The DT's actually having a pretty good start. That's 6 SCVs going down. 8 workers now killed. I mean, obviously the turret's starting to come up. Cyclone gets a lock onto the prism, but obviously with these new Cyclones, they don't stay locked on. They're not going to be a true threat to that prism unless they're really right underneath, and the 2 Cyclone 2 hurt to really do much. Now the Archons are going to morph in. Was this enough from Clem? I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, I think it was enough from Clem, actually. In terms of defense, to be able to just kind of come out okay, but not super decided just yet. As you see the prism, going to take a few more shots, and a couple of Archons dropping back down. The Bioforce will attack straight into that. A little bit more damage being done. Well, combat shield coming up, the couple of Marines and Marauders all on the way through as well. We do have ourselves the +1 and Blink, really going to be the sign from MaxPax to try and get a little bit extra set here. Now we do have this SCV going to mine out the minerals and open up this 3rd base location, so now we can take ourselves onto that 3rd. The prism kind of wanting to come through. Charge coming up, +1 attack coming in. See ourselves still these Stalkers coming across with the Zealot, with the prism. I mean, it looks as though MaxPax really wants to commit a little bit. If he does have that, you know, 2 Archons tanking and the Stalkers blink in, there's potential to actually get quite a lot of damage done with just one big play then. So, an opportunity perhaps to keep our eyes on. As do see MaxPax going to come around the front, so just maybe just hit the natural. Maybe you can kind of work towards the main base a little bit here with the prism at least. There'll be opportunities for sure. Bunker goes down very quickly. Clem has stims, so this shouldn't be super scary. It's the Archons in the main that could be kind of cool. Clem's bringing his units down from the main base. He'll have to turn those back around. He had units in position until just a moment ago to move them away at kind of the wrong time, unfortunately. As you see the rest of the bio continuing to fight, the Stalkers are going to go and fire up a storm over here, and we do have the +1 attack. The Concussor shells all being brought up. Charge about to finish, so Zealot Warpins are going to start being scary as well. I think MaxPax has a good opening, a good opportunity to maybe find damage right now. So, opportunity arising. Zealots are going to come through. The bio unit's going to back away. We have that storm already started up on the side of MaxPax as well. Here we go, coming through. I mean, Clem gets a good spread of units, and he does deal with most of the Zealots, which means the Stalkers should be fairly vulnerable afterwards. Means that this shouldn't be perhaps too much of a problem in the end, as we do have the bio going to unload back into this main base, chase those Archons out. The Viking now will chase the prism down too. We do actually go for the recall on the prism to keep it alive here, make sure it will not fall. The Stalkers shouldn't be able to do too much else. No reinforcements now, and this attack should be done. They should be in chill mode for Clem, as we do actually knock down one more Stalker. DT there reveals itself. We have a scan. That's an easy pick-off. We actually do still have ourselves the Stalkers out and about here, so something to keep our eyes open for. See if these Stalkers get caught, if they can catch anything. Clem rotates to the top side with a drop. As he drops to the top, there's an Adept on the watchtower, so he's going to have to go and unload on that. And this is where MaxPax is going to try and catch this dropship of units. He is going to come with the Stalkers on the right side, the Zealots too. High Templars in the prison, but he does not yet have the Storm available. That upgrade is still on its way, so that part is not ready just yet. Archon +2 attack, +1 armor. We do have another scanner coming through. We do just have MaxPax ready to push at the front again, apparently. He's just going to send it as we do go into this high ground. Stalker's blinking through. There's the storms. This is going to be Clem's issue. This choke is now going to be pretty nasty to work through. It's not going to be a lot of fun, honestly. As we see the bio, at least. I mean, it kind of works both ways. It's not fun for Clem to attack through and to kind of defend here, but it's also not good for MaxPax to attack through offensively, so both sides will kind of stalemate on that position. Ghost or two on the ramp is actually in some trouble as well. Some Zealots got by there. Extra Zealots warping in. Clem and MaxPax both dropping pretty similarly in supplies, so their supplies dropping very quickly, honestly. down to 140-ish each, but MaxPax has so much money to spend. If he can just spend his money, he will beat MaxPax out in a very near, in the very near future. And that might just kind of be all that we need. If he just spends his cash, he might have enough to actually break through Clem's position right now, but again, he's not spending that cash, so we do not know for sure just yet. We do not know for sure just yet. The Archon +2 attack, +2 armor coming in, the Robobay coming through as well. All of that still being brought in. Additional gateways also in production. As we have ourselves a medevac going to go try and get some Widow Mines over here. It's been all about MaxPax doing the damage, so finally Clem is going to try and find a little bit of damage for himself instead. Well, the position of MaxPax gets there, denies these Widow Mines quickly, still takes 3 workers of losses. There'll be 1 more Widow Mine dropping in. It burrows. The Stalkers get it. And that will be the end of that. Well, the army continues to move about. We do have ourselves the new command center for Clem trying to get to a 4th base. This is a much more open space, so maybe MaxPax can find a much better concave into this position. Maybe that will be what he can utilize in his favor coming into the next few moments. So something to watch for as we get settled down. Clem will be able to spread out better himself. EMP is the High Templar, the number 1 that comes out of the prison. The second one drops, does get a storm off. Widow Mines lining up on the Archons. No Zealots here anymore, so no Zealots for the Widow Mines to go after. SCVs are going to pull Clem, realizing perhaps that he just doesn't quite have enough, although all the storms are now gone. 10 SCVs go down and helping to defend. The Zealots are going to keep charging forward at MaxPax. 2-1 upgrades, by the way. That's a big upgrade lead and probably a big reason why he is able to chase forward as much, and he is going to come through, really doing a lot there, and Clem is going to find himself in trouble. As, yeah, he's lost SCVs. MaxPax on 97 workers. His economy is bonkers at the moment, actually, like really bonkers. And that's obviously a lot of workers to be working on, and that's the kind of thing where you kind of question is, is there a point where it's too many workers to be working from, or is that a non-existent kind of idea? That's a good question, isn't it? Shadow Strike coming up. I think 97 is maybe 99 is starting to be a little bit of a push too far for sure. I think we could do with a little bit less than that, but generally I kind of okay with the idea of being ahead on workers here as MaxPax because you're trading well and you're trading consistently. You're forcing fights on repeats. You want to be able to have a high work account because you want to rebuild every single time and just go again. That's the one thing that Clem cannot really keep up with at the moment, so making a little bit of the difference. Zealots and Stalkers start to charge through. The Bioforce is going to turn and go after those Zealots. Prism coming in with the High Templars dropping out. Clem's army supply is still actually fairly competitive here. It really is his workers that is just a little bit behind, which again maybe means that he can't rebuild as much as MaxPax can. He gets into the corner to try and help himself defend. Planetary Fortress taking some shots. Units come from the high ground. Clem's reinforcements are going to swarm the Templar. They got rid of the Colossus too, and Clem is going to turn this into a cleanup. 40, 50 army supply in the lead as he comes around that corner, running around the mineral line for his life, but his reinforcements saved his booty, and he got there for a pretty good fight in the end. Well, that was actually a pretty big deal from Clem. That was a massive fight from him. That was a massive play. Wow. That was huge. But now Clem comes across the map. Only 20 army supply lead because obviously MaxPax has had, we've talked about it, that economy advantage, so he's able to rebuild more quickly. But can he rebuild quickly enough? And obviously, can he replace tech units quickly? Because he lost all of his tech. Every High Templar went down. All the Colossi went down. So without any of those, that becomes my new question. Can we actually still be okay, or are we in trouble? Marines, Marauders, Ghosts continue to set up for the moment. Just have ourselves the Bioforce coming back around, getting onto the Watchtower. Side +3 armor coming through. Looks as though Clem will not get too much further, and now MaxPax's economy is going to start overtaking again. 102 workers. Still feel like it's a little bit too much, especially when you've had to stop for a little bit, because if both players max out, Clem's army is just going to be so much bigger. That should naturally net him some advantages for these fights. EMP's coming down. Storm does land on a few Vikings, splashing onto a few of those other units as well. Vikings are leading the charge forward once again. In we go. A couple DTs still coming through. DTs here in the third base. Going to get some damage dealt, so DTs really are putting in the work for MaxPax using that Dark Shrine from earlier. We are going to kill the Prism, so that's going to be the end of that, and that means these DTs are stuck in the main, although I say stuck in the main, they're actually having a pretty good time with it. Clem is just going to say he can't do enough anymore. He's going to type GG, and that one is going to be decided. This series is going to be wrapped up as MaxPax takes the first game of it. Play a fair amount, but I didn't realize they play quite that much. That is absolutely insane. All right. Let's get this underway, friends, as we have in the top left-hand side the Red Protoss player from Storm. This is MaxPax, and he has himself that 1-0 lead in the series. In the bottom right, our blue Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. Get going, and we see what will happen. A couple of SCVs going to come through and nibble at some probes. Just start to create a little bit of chaos in these early stages, as we do have. Again, Gateway, the barracks, all of it coming up for a few moments here. Getting things ready. And yeah. And Clem bounced back. Like I say, from when I've been casting Clem, he's been so good against MaxPax, but why have they gone back and forth this month? And he plays so many series against each other this sort of level, I guess that just sort of happens, and it must be hard to kind of pick builds at this point. You know, you must have done every build you have against the, your opponent here within the last week or two. I mean, there's very little innovation left when you play each other this much, I guess, which is, I guess, an interesting problem to have. Interesting problem to have for sure. Obviously, it's cool for us because we get to see them playing so often, but I wonder if they like it. I wonder if they like it, or if they hate it, or if they think it's, really difficult. This probe nearly getting 2 SCVs is going to go down to the Reaper, though. So that will fall. Command Center, factory, all on the way up. We get things going. I'm just going to be seeing our CC and our factory. Everything coming through. We get set for a few moments here. Twilight Council's on the way early from MaxPax, so getting into that again. Obviously, we'd be kind of surprised to see Dark Templar twice in a row, back to back. Obviously, it's not impossible, but definitely just feeling as though MaxPax is the kind of, he likes his blink anyways, we know that, so we'd be kind of surprised if he decided just, DT twice in a row, back to back. I think it's much more likely he does go into something along the lines of a, much more likely to go into something along the lines of a, blink here, and that is going to be blink starting up pretty much straight away. Stalker fires some shots. We're going to be seeing a couple of things going down. Nothing too crazy just yet. As we have ourselves our blink, our warp gate coming through, roper facility coming up. Well, how many gateways is always the question. MaxPax has been playing a little bit of 3-gate, and, it's still not really kind of much of a 2-gate expander, but 3-gate instead of 4-gate is something he has played around with a little bit more lately. At least I've seen him going for it a few times. Like I say, I can say all the things that I've seen MaxPax and Clem do, but it's very possible you guys have seen them do different things because of the amount of times they've played. So, as we see Blink coming up, we do have ourselves the gate and the robo facility coming through, and a couple of Stalkers make their way out onto the map. Again, that robo facility coming in, just going to have ourselves the Blink coming by, and the Prism coming up. So it is going to be 3 gateways. I say not fully committed to the 4, but still not quite as friendly of an expansion as 2. Ripper goes down scouting. As the Hellion tries to get further confirmation. I mean, there's not much to see apart from perhaps gateway count at this stage, I suppose. Something you can maybe get a little bit of an eye on. Just trying to clean up. Probes going down to the Widow Mine. We're going to try and save the Widow Mine. Clem's committed to this. But the Stalker's Blink not going to get there. And with the warp being used, that means that Medivac is out free. It is going to get away. So congratulations, Medivac. You made the great escape. You're out of there. That's impressive, because that was not a guaranteed position. That's absolutely one of those scenarios where things can go a little bit wrong, no doubt. Stalker's coming back through. Marine's still taking damage. We have ourselves the Adept coming back around as well. So just trying to do as much as we can for the moment. Marauder, Marines continue to come through as well. Just seeing our combat shield and our stim building on up. And these first few units already attacking in. Remember, there's just 3 gates, so you already get that third Nexus start from MaxPax. Clem can't really allow this to get too much damage done. He needs to be pretty in control of this from the get-go, honestly. He needs to get in control nice and quickly. His Medivac here is still trying to find more. I think it's time to realize that this Medivac has probably had its day. And try and get it out alive. If that's still possible, which it seems like it is, then I think that's still a big win to get that out alive and have one more Medivac in the game for later on. Stimpack and Combat Shield +1 as well. Clem is moving towards his upgrades, and with his upgrades come, of course, the chance to be in a much more comfortable spot, because then you can trade so much better against these Gable units that MaxPax is fully reliant on currently. So, good to get those on the go. Is about to finish here. I mean, MaxPax is on his way to charge as well. The extra gate's definitely going to play extremely gateway heavy. No splash damage for him in the foreseeable future. Using these Adepts to tank, we blink in. If Stim and Combat Shields was done already, that would be a lot of dead Stalkers. Fortunately for MaxPax, it was seconds away, so that's a little bit of a dilemma. That little bit of it is a gamble, really. That little bit of a gamble will pay off because he doesn't get punished for it. So this time around, it works out. And Clem does not have the full power force to just punish him there. I wonder if Clem, though, I mean, now upgrades are done. If he can move out, this is a moment where MaxPax, okay, about to have charge. Gateway's coming online, so warping potential is going to be there. Is it going to be enough? And you see that bio stimming up. A couple of Stalkers taking some shots already. 7 up concussive shells, that +1 attack continuing through also. So all of this coming by. Now Order Turret goes down. A couple of Stalkers get chased away. Big push up to the top. Again, +1 attack. The pylon on the way. Stalkers continue to back it up. A couple of Zealots are going to come around. Widow Mines will go off for a couple of those Zealots. Fire pushing straight on in, man. These Zealots are going to do a little bit to slow us down. They got rid of a siege tank, but there's another tank still sieged. It will get taken down by those Stalkers. Another tank sieges. Clem didn't dive the Immortal. I thought he would focus on getting rid of that straight away. He does so now, and it does fall pretty quick soon after. It was not really in the best of shape, obviously, so no surprise to see it dropping. A couple of gateways at the front, in some trouble. I'm not sure knocking 2 gateways down is a huge deal right now. Clem using the tank to quite literally tank some damage, because as it takes shots, it gives the bio units a little bit more time where they are surviving without being in danger, and I think that is actually a pretty big factor right now, having some moments where that is the case. Marine's going to get rid of the Prism, so harassment over here from MaxPax is gone. As Clem's in the main, he's going to force a recall. A few units get recalled from the low ground, and they are going to come through and play the protection game. The Medivacs are out alive, though. Clem very quick to just say, okay, recall's coming through. Time for me to get out of here. Let's not overcommit. Let's not make this a loss when it's already been a gain. No reason to get too caught up in that. Fire comes back out the front. Army into the center of the map. Storm coming through. Prism coming through. I mean, again, having to replace that, just a little bit more of an expense from MaxPax. More money on a Prism, less money on Zealots. That's probably how Clem views it, as his army supply is still looking fantastic here, starting to move towards the upper side of the map. Zealot Stalker getting set, the Prism moving away over to the sides. We're going to just push on forwards. The Immortal's going to get caught. A couple probes are being chased. The High Templar goes down. Extra Zealots warping in. They're going to run forward as well. The buyer will have to kite back against Zealot. You can't typically just stand there and take their shots. You got to do the stutter step. And that stutter step does begin right now, as we do have Clem losing SCVs on the other side. Still needs to deal with that, but he's killed the third base, and that's a pretty damning effort. That might just put MaxPax into a little bit too much trouble, a position he may just struggle to get out from. Couple of Widow Mines still going off. Widow Mines getting rid of a lot of these Zealots here. And I personally think we've got ourselves a game kind of wrapped up, honestly. I think this one is going to be at GG's. Clem takes game 2. We're tied in the best of 5 point tournament point. That's in the top left-hand side. Our red Protoss player. This is MaxPax. Taking on the blue Terran in the bottom right side from Team Liquid, Clem. Alright, again with 3 of the best of 5, we get this started up. And jump on that indie cam. He's been doing some beautiful observing so far. And I believe in him to take us all the way today. Thank you, Indy. Saved me from ruining the finals with my own observing. 11 hours to have my bases money. Thank you so much, Cynicus me. Appreciate it. 4-month resub on the Prime. Thank you so much. I presumed the share was coming after you'd already said it in chat. See that? Preemptive Wardy. God, this streamer is so full of himself, just assuming people are going to prime sub to him. Ugh. Oh, Indy on the speed intros as he's a little bit late back to the keyboard after the break. We have our probe nibble in the depot, and the SCV just getting that up. Cybercore Nexus all coming through. Reaper in the orbital coming out. And yeah, again, there's Reaper done, as we are going to see Factory before we expand. So Clem going into that bit more kind of tech-based play before we get the expansion going. Already followed it up with ESL. I said it earlier, man. If you want the impossible to happen, then make the impossible happen. 2,000 subs. Obviously beaming, but there's just no way I'm casting ESL. The fact it starts in 2 hours and 45 minutes, like, I think I said this earlier as well too. I was like, the problem with ESL, not that I really cast Europe anymore, but it just has such a big downtime from the European Cups, so it's so difficult to go from one into the next. Like, that downtime is an absolute killer. I'd much rather just go. That's why today we haven't had a break. We could have had like an hour break or so between some of our live stuff and even some of our VOD stuff and replay stuff. But the breaks are a killer. I'd rather just go and not stop. A long day with no downtime is better than a long day with like hour downtime here and an hour downtime there. That's why the biggest break we've had today has been 10 minutes or so. I just really love casting StarCraft because, like, you know, it does not feel like, obviously I'm pretty tired now. My brain's a little bit, you know, mushy, but it does not feel like it's been a 12-hour day, right? Like, to sit here and just, like, go. We must kind of love StarCraft, right, guys? You guys watching as well must have some serious passion, too, so, yeah. just a moment of realization. I'm like, man, I must kind of like this, huh? Nah, just kidding, guys. Match was figured out a few years ago. Wardy's only in it for the money. I remember this conspiracy one time. Wardy chose to cast StarCraft 2 for the money. That is people's favorite thing to say on Reddit. Back in the good old days. And nowadays we don't get mentioned on Reddit. It's so nice. Everyone just like leaves me be. No one mentions me. It's so good. Big fan of that. Medevac coming into this main base is going to go jumping through, as we do have Clem for a little bit of aggression then. The units in the center are going to have a little bit of a scuffle, but let's focus on this right now as a couple of probes go down. Clem chases. The depth goes down to the Widow Mine, and Clem, again, it's obviously a little bit scary because of the Phoenix. He's just going to come back around. Just going to go after this. Few Stalkers, going to go after the Super Battery. A few probes coming through. Just having ourselves another Phoenix on the way up as well. So just bringing all of this in and all of this going. I mean, 4 probes is not bad, and the medevac's out alive against Phoenix. I don't think that was a guarantee in the slightest, so actually getting the medevac out alive, I think, is a nice little bonus on top of what I was expecting to happen here. I'd say that's a pretty decent win. Stimpback still coming up. We have ourselves the engineering bay and the barracks continuing through as well, so all of that coming in as we get established here. Immortal and the Phoenix are coming out. So far, so good. So, Fredmo, thank you so much for the 4-month resub. Welcome back. As we have Clem pushing his way up to the top left-hand side. Let's see if he can make something happen as he edges towards this incoming third base of MaxPax, because it's not built yet. Well, there's no battery here anyways, but there wouldn't have been a super battery available. Got the Cyclones in the back, keep them safe from those Immortals, and maybe we're onto something right now. Battery tries to build again. Clem is just going to get the cancel, and I think they'll just back away. Obviously, the Phoenix are around, but they weren't really here to help initially. This was nice for Clem. The Phoenix were just a little bit out of position, and he honestly took pretty good advantage of that. So that went pretty okay for him as the couple of Cyclones chase. The Phoenix going to take some hot shots. Just having ourselves Stimpack Combat Shield and +1 upgrade continuing to come through. Phoenix taking more damage. A little bit of extra shots coming through on that one. Stim combat +1 coming up. Cyclones and Marines pulling back. We got a few Stalkers moving around. The Phoenix going to come back around the left-hand side as well. Just having our Twilight Council, our Forge, all building through here. Xanthermal Lands and the Colossus coming in also. Getting this all up and running. Now, obviously the Phoenix Colossus, pretty powerful style. Very safe style, right? Very easy to kind of get into that kind of macro game. Very easy to kind of force a later game situation. Not an easy one for the Terran to attack into, basically. So you really can kind of, I don't want to say camp out, but you know, you can play a slower game. You can expand a bit more slowly, but, you know, be safe because your army is just that powerful as well. So that's what MaxPax is going for. It's a very different vibe to what we saw throughout Game 1 and Game 2, which is very on the go, aggression all the time. Never stop. Don't even think about stopping, in fact, because if he stopped, he would have let Clem build up a better army. And Clem would have maybe washed the floor with him, as he did in Game 2, but he didn't get the chance to in Game 1. So, MaxPax are really just altering the playstyle completely here for Golden Aura. And I've said it a few times, this map is so good for defensive play because the engagements in are always up very narrow ramps and very narrow positions. That said, that's not going to necessarily save you from the drop in the main base. Super Battery goes down quickly, that's scary. Clem diving the third at the same time. MaxPax knows he's being out-positioned, and he's just going to say GG. Wow, that was just a 1-2 punch. And Clem caught him fresh on the face with both of them. MaxPax's win rate since winning his first cup is absolutely astounding. It's actually a little bit bonkers as well. So, yeah, some fun stats. I mean, we could talk about that all day. Fortunately, we have StarCraft to talk about as well, so you don't have to listen to me kind of being apparently amazed by some statistics. I just thought it was some fun stuff to note. And it's really crazy, because actually I do remember when MaxPax won Cup 93, and then he won Cup 100, and he did a little interview with Roddy, and Roddy was like, hey, do you think it's like a big thing? You haven't, you know, winning some of these cups finally and stuff. And, yeah, I remember Max saying, I guess so. Like, it was kind of an awkward little interview. But, man, to think how far he's come in the last, you know, couple of years then, essentially. The rise of MaxPax has been very real, and he has been absolutely one of these players we've had to watch out for, and now fully respect when it comes to the European scene. He truly has become one of the absolute very best. He is in the bottom right here, looking to tie this series up, take us to a Game 5 in today's Grand Finals. Isn't Phoenix Colossus supposed to be a safe opening? It is, but not if you get out positioned like that. And also, I think the first push, because the Phoenix weren't there to help, he had a little bit of trouble getting that third base online. I think that slowed MaxPax down as well and just didn't really help him to kind of get set for the next phase. So yeah, it's a safe opening. That doesn't mean you can't mess it up. It doesn't mean you're just guaranteed safety. You still have to play it correctly, right? I know, guys. I know it's crazy. Just because you choose a build, it doesn't play it for you. But yeah, no, typically it is a safe opening, and I'd say it's quite shocking to see MaxPax just fall apart like that with Phoenix Colossus, but I think it was just a build-up of a couple of things, honestly. Like I say, from that first push on the third, doing so well, and that was kind of down to Phoenix being, like I say, a little bit out of location initially. Yeah, a lot going on. Factory coming up, Reactor coming through from Clem. We have our Warp Gate, our Adept continuing into play at the moment, so bringing this all the way in. Just going to see that Reaper heading down to the bottom right-hand side. So heading down over there as Nexus comes up, Probe and the Adept coming through, the Warp Gate building, Twilight Council producing from MaxPax as well. All of that underway, as we do see a grenade going down, and that Probe is going to get picked off by that Reaper. Clem packs around 69, let's go. Thank you, Pig. 35-month resub, welcome back. Yeah, these guys just fight all of the time, don't they? They are just non-stop against each other lately. It's been ridiculous as Adept shades about, Twilight Council coming through, Stalker and the Warp Gate continuing up. Is Reaper still sat in the main and maybe come through for a secondary scout? Maybe see as, you know, Blink's dying, or are we going to go Dark Shrine or something cheeky? Blink is going to start for the moment. If it gets picked off, Blink coming through. See if that Blink leads to anything here. As the medevac and a couple more Marines coming out, we continue through with this. Just having ourselves a couple of Adepts just going to go back through the center and seeing how many gateways MaxPax wants to add here. Second gate, then the Robo facilities. I don't think this is going to be overly aggressive once again. I think this is going to be actually just pretty, or fairly chill, honestly, for the most part. A couple of Adepts coming up this ramp. Reactor is going to be there to block, of course. And Clem gets to continue through for a few moments longer without any current issues. Nothing MaxPax will do. Orbital just moves down to the low ground. Already on our way to a Siege Tank and a Raven on the way as well. Not seeing too much Raven action in across this best of 5 so far, so a little bit of a change up from Clem, keeping things different game by game. How do you know what level you're on the Star Trek game? As this Widowmine drop comes in, I'll just answer that when we see how many Widowmine probes these get. Sunburrow, Reburrow. Your level is the level of your base or your operations building. That's the level that counts. It should say in the top left-hand corner your level as well on your like profile or something. It should say it in the top left, and that is basically still relates to the fact it's your operations building, but it should be displayed there too. As our Adept is going to have a couple of seconds to shoot down, we are going to get rid of the other Widowmine too. It's a fair amount of mining time lost though. Right, it's a pretty serious pull from the mineral lines twice over, so yeah, some good damage I would say. Not a bad start at all. Stalker still moving about, Adept and the Observer coming through. We got our charge coming up as well. Just getting our Nexus, just getting our probe on the way. She gets rid of the medevac, that's really cute. Just a nice little additional touch at the end here. This medevac will go down. We have a couple Stalkers coming up. And yeah, charge coming through. Getting that up and rolling as well. So bringing that charge in as our Stalkers come through. Just going to try and get a little bit of something as well. But it's just going to be sat here waiting with these few Stalkers. Obviously, they will not go far. Third base is already coming up here from MaxPax. Charge coming up. Extra gates coming up. All the good stuff coming through at the moment. The Marines and the Raven will just sit still, obviously defending the bunker at the front. It looks as though that's going to be a fairly safe position to be in. Nothing too wild coming of that. Charge is about to be done. I feel like I probably said that a couple times over. My brain is malfunctioning a little bit, guys. Sorry. It's like, what should we say? Let's just repeat ourselves. Do I think MaxPax is the best player in the world right now? No. Would I put him in the top 5? Yes, but only online, because I think to be the best player in the world, you'd still, you know, competing offline is a different beast to competing online, so I still think we have to kind of consider that. As the auto turret gets a grab. So yeah, I would put him top 5 when it comes to online. I mean, who does he lose to consistently? Like Serral, Clem, but he beats Clem a fair amount. He's got a winning record against Maru. Like, it's hard to argue against MaxPax not being top 5 at least, you know? Like, yeah, I can see maybe on like the outer edges of top 5. And like I say, that is limited to online as well, so that's a little bit of a stipulation. It's going to be a dead engineer barracks. Sorry. Dead barracks at the front, so it's a little quick cancel. Just dealing with that nice and quickly. As Ankat, thank you so much for the 7-month resub. Welcome back. As the auto turret coming through, this Raven Harass building up then for a little bit of action. Just seeing now a Divac loading up a couple of units, just going to head across over the sides. And it is going to be, once again, just a couple of Widow Mines. All he's going to drop back down. There's just so much vision from MaxPax around Clem's base. And unable to really see exactly what's going, you know, well, Clem not unable to see, and Clem unable to get out without being seen. And I think realizing that, he might kind of change up what he wants to do. Just that little bit. Yeah, I think he's going to change his mind just slightly here. Let's see the rest of the bio still coming across, just a couple of moments. And now just chasing away those stalkers. Spells coming over. SCVs are going to be taking some damage. It's a nice little play in. Finally, this Prism makes its move. It's been waiting for a little while to kind of come across here, and now our Widow Mine's burrowing up. Clem trying to push on the other side, but pushing into all these Zealots is not exactly going to be great. At least the first one doesn't get splashed too much. Now we're going to be seeing Clem, well, having to deal with those force fields a little bit, but dealing with them pretty well. Gonna come back through it. SCVs have gone down. Just gonna stim in again. Couple Widow Mines burrow up one more time. Zealots again shot at. Another couple Widow Mines coming through. Force field goes down. Siege tank already gets picked off. Fire just pulling back once more. So Clem getting out of there. MaxPax is going to be able to hold him off there. Clem actually did really well. When I saw how many Zealots there was, I was a little bit skeptical, but I guess that amount of Zealots is a nice Widow Mine from the high ground. That amount of Zealots without an armor upgrade, maybe not quite as scary as I'm used to thinking of. Again, that +1 armor coming through, and that is going to be MaxPax powering up a bit more with Colossus on the way as well, so you'll have further tech. I mean, Clem traded well. Don't forget he did take some damage going into this, and the Prism is back to try and do the same once more. Coming through here, looking for a little bit of success. Bio comes over, chases the Prism out of there. The Prism will be pushed away pretty much immediately. So Prism gets pushed out. A few extra Zealots coming in. Extended Thermal Lance is about to be done as well. Getting that completed up for a couple of moments. And the Viking going to fire up. Prism will continue to take shots. Zealot, Stalkers, Colossus, and the Immortal continue to gather up. We're going to chase through. A couple Widow Mines are going to go boom, boom. Onto a chunk of those Zealots as well, so extra damage being dealt. The Widow Mine shot, and we get rid of a couple more Zealots once again. Clem is still kind of the one cleaning up, I feel like, although... Okay, he's actually got MaxPax out of position here. It's a big play on the bottom side of the map, because MaxPax is running back to defend. Super Battery goes down already. Clem gets to this base. The Stalkers blink to zone the Medivacs from going into the main, and that's a great defense. That was an essential defense, actually, as Clem now doesn't really seem to know what it is he wants to do when it comes to getting out of here. Yeah, and I can't really blame him. I get it, you know, it's actually a bit of a weird spot. He's going to try and drop down here. I think he might have just cornered himself in, loses 17 SCVs on the other side, and he just didn't really get anything done with this army. I thought by kind of getting here ahead of MaxPax's force, he might have been able to do something, but I just don't think he had enough here to get anything done. That's the issue that we've really led into. The Bioforce still chilling in the top left, and well, Ghosts and Vikings continue to produce here as well. Continue to bring those out for the next few moments on top of it, so all of that coming through. more shots going out. It is going to be our Zealots coming through. This army of MaxPax. Is it going to be a little bit too much for Clem to deal with? He's still got so much supply, Clem, stuck on the bottom. For the moment, it looks as though he's going to be okay, though. Looks as though he's just dealing with it right now, doing a good job for the moment. Fire Force has eventually just come over here, so those medevacs tried to just trade as best they can to break out. And they get a fairly okay one. Like, it could have been a lot worse. He could have lost everything at some point with those medevacs, it felt like. So, just getting out with something feels like a little bit of a W that you just take at the moment. As we do have Marauders, the Ghost, and +1 armor coming through. It is going to be Clem equalizing upgrades there, although MaxPax will retake the lead once his +2 attack is done. Robo facilities coming up right now. We know that those are going to be big because now MaxPax is going to be able to build so many disruptors all at once. So he's going to really kind of spread out his tech from those Colossi into disruptors really quickly. That might actually be a pretty big problem here for Clem. Trying to deal with that may just be problematic. As we do see a couple more Vikings coming around too. They're going to get set. This army from Clem is still pretty huge, mind you. 143 army supply, but are we getting to a point where maybe, I'm being crazy, but maybe Clem's army is kind of at the stage where, dare I say Clem's army is kind of getting to the stage where I think it might just be in kind of too low tech territory to really deal with what MaxPax has. 6 ghosts is okay. I guess not yet. Once the disruptor count gets up there, maybe we need a little bit more, but I guess for now it's going to be fine. I mean, 9 Vikings still respectable against the Colossi, although maybe against 4 Colossi a few more would be, nice, but we are getting those. Obviously, Clem needs to take good trades because he's not mining anywhere near as much as MaxPax, so he has to trade efficiently when these trades come through. That's going to be very important for him. That's something we already kind of know. And we very much so just know that that has to happen. Disruptor shot comes in here. The Vikings trying to get some more shots off on those Colossi. Clem about 20 army supply ahead. Chasing now. We'll get a couple of these disruptors. They don't run very quickly. The Vikings going to do good getting rid of a Colossus without taking much damage themselves. The disruptors are still derping at the front. But Clem is taking even more damage in the main base. He is going to leave maybe a little bit soon, but I think he knows that this army is not going to do enough in the end. And so MaxPax is going to take us to the top right. Red Protoss. This is going to be MaxPax from Psystorm Gaming. Bottom left, Blue Terran, Team Liquid's Clem. That comes all the way down to game number 5. Alright, final map, deciding map. Can get this underway. Let's see who is going to be our victor. Let's see who can get it done. Probe coming about, heading down to the bottom side. It's just going to be CNAP Pro coming through, SCV getting settled. Just getting ourselves ready to roll. Engineering Bay barracks all coming through for a couple of moments there. Obviously, the Engineering Bay block on the other side. Going unseen, so that means that MaxPax only just spotting it now as the probe goes down to the low ground. That should go pretty decently. Slavic coming up, next is coming through. We get ourselves ready for a couple of moments here. Let's see, with that base out of position, Clem usually likes to try and utilize, something to take advantage of that, whether it's a, a starport or just some Hellions in general. See what he goes for. Factory's going to be on the reactor early, so probably is just going to be some Hellions and trying to, again, make use of the fact that that base is a little bit out of position from what it usually would be. Going to utilize that in these early stages. Yo, Captain Canada, thank you so much for the 3-month resub on the Prime. So Doomsday is 82. Thank you so much for the 2-month resub on the Prime as well. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thanks for supporting our marathon stream today. It really has been a big one, guys. 12 hours deep. We're about to tick over to 12 hours in 2 minutes time. So I think we're going to get there. The longest stream of the year. Who knew? It was going to come on October 23rd. As a factory going to move off away from the reactor. Going to move to the tech lab. The barracks going to get to the reactor instead. Just going to move over with that for the first few moments. We do have a starport coming up. Now, here come the Hellions. Actually going to find the Adept on its own. So the Hellions going to hatch you two pretty well against that for a couple moments. And now we're going to move ourselves in towards the main. Now we've got one Phoenix that can lift. Chooses a full HP Hellion. Does not go for the quick, easy kill. And now with the second Hellion lifted, you've already removed one-shot potential. The Stalker will get the low HP here. And with only 3 probes going down, I'm going to say this is a pretty good defense from MaxPax. Obviously, this was not the most aggressive of... It was not the most aggressive that, Hellions can be, but still, only 3 probes is almost always nice, especially when the Hellions looked like they were getting in there fairly free initially. Twilight Council coming up, couple of gates coming through. Cyclone locks on, the Phoenix taking some damage. Phoenix is coming back around. And Cyclone, Viking, a couple of Marines all coming up for the moment. Phoenix going to grab themselves 1 Marine right away. Just going to have ourselves the Viking and the Cyclone still producing. A couple more Marines coming out. Get things underway for a couple of moments here. Just having our Stalkers chilling as the Cyclones are going to make their way across. So here comes Clem. This is going to get interesting because he could aim for the natural. But there's obviously not going to be a battery and absolutely no chance to super battery because it's obviously a, not built base just yet. But then he's obviously between the bases too. And the fact loads up. Just going to look for the drop in. The Cyclone's going to catch the Phoenix on the way back. They will soften one up and maybe that becomes a target here as the battery in the main base will put in some good work. Without that battery, maybe MaxPax would be in a lot of trouble. But Clem is going to get shut down. MaxPax will deal with this nicely. Now the Cyclones are going to change direction of attack. They're going to show up on this base where they're going to try and get a few probes, I guess. Battery will put some work in. The Phoenix and everything else on the way over. Clem gets a 3rd worker, tries for a bit more. Drains the energy on the batteries a little bit too, I think is always worth noting. Because maybe that affects an attack a bit further down the line. Now these Stalkers are able to chase. That's the problem with Cyclones. Great for attacking, but actually once they start to try and retreat, they're just so slow nowadays. Until they get an upgrade and the Stalkers do chase. They get 1 kill. Now the Phoenix will grab another. The Medevac's coming in from the wrong side as well. Clem's starting to lose a lot. Is it too much? No, not yet. He does have a siege tank that can help him out as well. He is actually down on army supply though, so maybe there is a little bit of cause for concern here. SCVs are pulling in, trying to help out. Here comes the Medevac. SCVs continue to pull in. MaxPax is doing a lot of damage with 6 SCVs. Now 11 already killed. The counterattack from MaxPax is going to do so much. 13 workers lost, and Clem's numbers are getting picked apart for a little bit. +1 attack, stim, and combat shields all continuing into play. Oh. Did Clem just lose the game? I think he might have done. It was honestly, it wasn't looking great across the map. Like, it was a good defense from MaxPax, but didn't think MaxPax would get so much done coming across the other side. He's definitely established himself a lead right now, so MaxPax into an advantaged position. Phoenix come back over. The Stalker's going to back away, and SCV on the depot gets taken out. Gonna pull back with that then. We do have ourselves the Phoenix and a few Stalkers all collecting up. Phoenix actually gonna come through here and grab themselves a Widow Mine. This is one of the issues now as well. Clem will probably not find any more pressure on the map because of the Phoenix presence. And if you don't find any more Phoenix on the map, you're probably not gonna have a good time in general, I don't think. So, yeah, this is probably gonna start being a little bit of a problem very soon. Phoenix going to get some more shots off. Obviously, Clem will likely take some more damage from these over time. And it's going to be part of his problem as we just continue through this for a little bit. Really is not looking to be such a hot situation. Robot Bit coming up, and the extra Zealots on the way through, the +1 attack upgrade coming out. Again, a lot of establishment being done right now as we have that Immortal, a few more Zealots, the +1 all coming through, the Cannon as well. Going into play right here. Our SCVs are pulling as Clem is going to send it on the 2 bases. Probably one of the better things that he can do right now to just sort of commit. You know, I think this is probably the best thing you can do because you're going to get counterattacked. You're going to have MaxPax control in this game otherwise. So get the hell across. Make something happen for yourself. At least then you kind of control your own fate a little bit, you know? At least then you control your own fate. These Zealots are already doing a lot. On the other side of the map, what are we talking about? Well, a couple of force fields to help. The Bio has not got SCVs in front of them just yet. The first couple of Widow Mine shots doing decently, though. Super Battery is obviously active, and Clem going to push up again. He's got that +1 attack upgrade lead. We are going to have ourselves this Super Battery putting in work. Phoenix lifting up whatever we can. The army supplies are very close. Now MaxPax is realizing, maybe I need to pull probes. The 2 cannons that are here are actually going to be putting in some serious work, as they are going to be kind of helping to hold on. The biggest issue for Clem may just be that he's got no reinforcements coming across the map. And so GG is called, and Clem, he was kind of fairly still competitive in the army supply. It was just starting to trail off, though, and I think the biggest thing really is he has no reinforcements coming across the map. MaxPax will win Open Cup Europe 198. Clem will not take the title of most wins this